really thinking about this question, these sort of moments in my life that have made me who I am. I feel quite torn with this in a way because, I grew up in a single mum household. My dad lived in America and he'd sort of fly back to Ireland and then fly back. And then we were raised by my grandma as well. And then my grandma passed away when I was 11, and it was like losing a parent, really. I mean, she had been raising me. And I had a very, very tough piano teacher, which so many people seem to have, piano teachers that hit their fingers with a ruler. And I mean, this guy was a real asshole. I mean, a real asshole. He'd scream, he'd go, "What the hell are you doing?" Throw my book across the room. I was like 13, What was I doing? I don't know. I was probably up all night drinking Coke and 7-Up, watching stupid movies with my friends. I'm tired at my piano lesson. I don't know. I'm a kid. But this guy was such an asshole, and he was so abusive. And, that was really, really tough because I didn't have a consistent male in my life aside from him every week. And so that was really hard for me. And, not having my dad around for many years. My dad flew back when I was 12 after my grandma died. He came back a few months later. And then I didn't see him again till I was 17. And there was only a few times in my life that we saw each other. Otherwise, then after that, we were very, very close. We spoke on the phone all the time. But we just, he just didn't make it over to Ireland very often. As an adult, I tried to fly over there, but then he got cancer, unfortunately. And we were sort of robbed of the opportunity as adults to see each other more. So there was lots of things that sort of happened, as they do in everybody's childhood and in everybody's life, that can cause some sort of trauma. But I think I grew up in a house where, while these weren't the exact words that my mum would use, it was always a case of when something went wrong, it was sort of, right, well, what do we take from this? So this happened. Well, what can we do differently next time to make sure that won't happen again? And in breaking things down that way, or sort of, what can we learn from this, right? So your teacher's screaming at you every week at piano. You're trying really, really hard. You're practicing for hours on end, but maybe you're just not that good. So, what's the life lesson here? You might really enjoy something and you might be quite passionate about it. But if you're really actually not that good at it and you really, really have to try so hard to be a success, then maybe it's not your calling. What is the lesson that we can get from this? And it was like, right, well, now we've spoken about it, we've reflected on it, onwards and upwards, let's get on with our lives. And some people might be a bit horrified by that, the need to have counselling and talk things through and, really reflect deeply on how certain things made us feel was just not part of our day-to-day lives. It was, this has happened. How can we make sure that this isn't going to happen again? And what can we take from this? Right, let's move on. And it just built such a sense of resilience in me, right? Even to this day, when something goes wrong, it's kind of, that's my automatic thought process. I don't know, maybe I'm carrying a huge amount of baggage that I'm in denial about, or maybe I just learned to cut the cord on things that weren't serving me very well at a very early age.